Hello candidates, welcome to Manifested e-learning platform. It's my pleasure to welcome you once again to our today's learning session. The subject is financial accounting and the topic is introduction to public sector accounting. Our today's lesson is a continuation of series in lessons in public sector accounting. So far we have learned about the features of public sector entities. We have covered the structure of the public sector. Currently we are on the subtopic regulatory structures. And under regulatory structures, candidates, we have learned about the International Public Sector Accounting Standards Board, the Public Sector Accounting Standards Board, which is the Kenyan version. Then we have also covered the Directorate of Accounting Services. In our last lesson, that's what we did. We looked at the technical directorates under the National Treasury. In our today's lesson, we want to proceed and learn about the National Treasury. The National Treasury. So far, candidates, just to do a quick recap of what we have covered under the topic public sector. Under public sector accounting, public sector accounting, the public sector accounting, we have done the features of public sector entities. We've also done the structure of public sector, Currently we are on the subtopic regulatory structures. This is our current subtopic. Now, so far under the subtopic regulatory structures, we have learned about the International Public Sector Accounting Standards Board, the Public Sector Accounting Standards Board, then the Directorate of Accounting Services, that is the International Public Sector Accounting Standards Board, the Director of Services. So this is covered under the regulatory structures and oversight. Candidates, if you can remember, we learned that the International Public Sector Accounting Standards Board works under the auspices of the International Federation of Accountants, and the Public Sector Accounting Standards Board, we saw that this is a Kenyan version of the International Public Standards Board, and it derives its mandate from the Public Financial Management Act. Public Financial Management Act. That's where it draws its mandate from. Then we discussed in our last lesson about the Directorate of Accounting Services. We said that this directorate is headed by a Director General, and the directorate is organized into four directorates. Four directorates. The first one is the government accounting services. The second directorate is the internal audit department. The third directorate is the financial management information services, the famous IFMIS. Then there is the last department, which is the national sub-county treasuries. So these are four directorates, and we gave 19 functions that are performed by these four directorates. And the Director General of the Directorate of Accounting Services reports to the Cabinet Secretary, National Treasury. And today, candidates, we want to study the establishment, the mandate, and the functions of the National Treasury. The National Treasury. The National Treasury. That's going to be our subject of our lesson today, the National Treasury. And here is the lesson objective. By the end of this lesson, you as the candidate should be able to explain the establishment, the mandate, and the functions of the National Treasury, which is a regulatory structure under public sector accounting. That is the lesson objective. Now, candidates, the establishment. What can we say about the establishment of National Treasury? Establishment. Now, the National Treasury derives its mandate from the 2010 Constitution, number one. Number two, the Public Financial Management Act of 2012, and the Executive Order number 2 of the year 2013, which was about organization of government. So the National Treasury draws its mandate, or we can say, draws its mandate from number one, the Constitution, and specifically Article 225 of the Constitution. Number two is the Public Financial Management Act of 2012. And number three is the Executive Order number 2 of the year 2013. Now, candidates, this article 225 of the Constitution says, and I quote, "An act of Parliament shall provide for the establishment, functions, and responsibilities of the National Treasury." That is what the Constitution states under Article 225, and the article is about financial control. Financial control. Article 225 is about financial control, and it says that an act of Parliament shall provide for the establishment, functions, and responsibilities of the National Treasury. If I was to remind you, candidates, this Constitution was promulgated in the year 2010. All right, in 2010, the Kenyan citizens, through the Constitution, decided that an act of Parliament shall provide for the establishment, the functions, and responsibilities of the National Treasury. And that act, candidates, is the Public Financial Management Act, right, of the year 2012. And you can see after the year 2012, the President, through the Executive Order number 2 of 2013, organized his government, because this Executive Order again is titled Organization of Government. The Executive Order, the second one in 2013, was about organization of government, and it superseded the Executive Order, the Presidential Circular of the year 2008. That's the history, okay, and the establishment. So we have learned about establishment. How was it established? It's through these three articles, all right? The Constitution, an Act of Parliament, and the Executive Order. Executive Order. I hope that is clear enough. Let's now move on to the functions and responsibilities of the National Treasury. We have seen the establishment. We need to move on and discuss the functions of the National Treasury, which is headed by the Cabinet Secretary to the National Treasury. So, functions of the National Treasury. Functions of the National Treasury. Treasury. The pass. This is the pass, the national pass. The national what? The national pass. National Treasury. Now, candidates, the first function of the National Treasury, the first function of the National Treasury, according to the Public Financial Management Act, is that the National Treasury shall formulate, number one, formulate, implement, and monitor macroeconomic policies, involving expenditure and revenue. Formulate, implement, and monitor macroeconomic policies involving expenditure and revenue. That is self-explanatory, because I'm well aware that you have covered macroeconomics. All right. Number two is to manage the level and composition of national public debt, national public debt, national guarantees and other financial obligations of the national government. Remember, the cabinet secretary is the head of the National Treasury. So he is to manage the level of and composition of the national debts, public national debt, national public debt, the national guarantees and other obligations of the national government to manage. That is function number 2. Another responsibility, number 3, is to formulate, evaluate and promote economic development in conjunction with other national government entities, other national government entities. Right? Formulate, evaluate, and promote economic development in conjunction with other national government entities, because the ministry cannot on its own promote economic development. It has to work with other ministries and other public sector entities. Right? That is number 3. Number 4, to mobilize domestic and external resources. resources for what purpose? For financing budgetary requirements. Resources for financing national, you can even say financing both national government and county government budgetary requirements. County government and national government budgetary requirements is supposed to mobilize both from within and from without. All right, domestic and external resources have to be mobilized by the National Treasury to ensure that the budgetary requirements of the national government and the county government are met. Then number 5, function number 5 is to do what? Function number 5 is to design and prescribe. The national government's function, a very important one, is to design and prescribe an efficient what? Efficient financial management system, efficient financial management system for the national government and county governments, supposed to have an S there, and county governments, there are many, and county governments, to ensure the purpose for this efficient financial management system for both the county government and the national government is to ensure transparent financial management and standard financial reporting. There should be standard financial reporting in the national government and the county governments, and that can only work or happen if the National Treasury designs and prescribes an efficient financial management system. So these are 5 objectives, 5 functions. Let's give more functions of the National Treasury. More functions of the National Treasury. Function number 6. Number 6, you can say, in consultation with the accounting standards board, the National Treasury should ensure the uniform accounting standards. Accounting standards are applied by the national government, and public sector entities. Okay, public sector entities in consultation with the Accounting Standards Board, and this is the Public Sector Accounting Standards Board. Number 7 is to develop policy. Develop policy for the establishment, management, operation, and winding up of public sector entities. Okay, public sector entities. Learners, the muscle is being exercised. All right, I can feel some gain. All right, no pain, no what? No gain. Number 8 is to prepare the annual division of revenue, and what else? This, if you have television and you watch business news candidates, you will hear these terms on television. Division of revenue, and this is division of revenue bill, and the county allocation. The county allocation of revenue bill. Prepare the annual division of revenue bill and the county allocation of revenue bill. So candidates, I once again have done this before, invite you to develop interest in business news. Some of the things we are learning here, you can get them on business news, right? You can read business newspapers. On television, every station has segment for business news. These are some of the matters that come up in news. So you must have heard about the division of revenue bill and the county allocation of revenue bill. Number 9, the third function of National Treasury is strengthen the financial and fiscal. Strengthen financial and fiscal relations between the national government and the county governments. Between the national government and the county governments, and encourage support for the county governments. Encourage support for the county governments. That is responsibility number 9. Number 10 is to assist county governments to develop capacity. Develop capacity. Capacity for what? Capacity for efficiency, for efficient, effective, efficient, effective and transparent financial management. And transparent financial management. Financial management. Assist county governments to develop capacity for transparent, efficient, effective financial management. Number 11, the 11th function is to prepare the national budget, execute stroke implement and control approved budgetary resources and control approved budgetary resources to MDS. MDS means ministries, departments and agents and other public sector entities. It's the work of the National Treasury to prepare national budget, execute, implement and control approved budgetary resources to the ministries, departments and agencies and other public sector entities. So these are 11 functions of the National Treasury which you are supposed to record in your mind. For those who are going to sit for the exam, make sure you have these functions in your memory. Then peradventure you are asked a question in relation to the role of the National Treasury in the devolved system of government. Here are the roles just in case you need to understand what is the role of the National Treasury in the devolved system of government. The role or functions or responsibilities. Role of National Treasury, the National Treasury in the devolved system of government. Number 1, the first role is to strengthen financial and fiscal relations between the national government and the county governments and encourage support for county governments in performing their functions. The second role that the National Treasury plays in the devolved system of government is to assist county governments develop their capacity for efficient, effective and transparent financial management. Transparent financial management. Candidates, role number 3 is to prepare annual division of revenue. Let me have it in the capital here. Revenue bill and the county allocation. Allocation of revenue bill. Number 4, candidates, is to coordinate and develop the development and implementation of financial recovery plans. Implementation of financial recovery plans for county governments that are in financial distress. So that is the role. The National Treasury is mandated by law to coordinate the development and application of financial recovery plans for the county governments that are in financial distress. Then lastly is to develop capacity building of county governments on public financial management matters. So these are the roles of the National Treasury in the devolved system of government. So these again, candidates, if you are preparing for exams, make sure you record this in your memory for easy retrieval. So these are the roles of the National Treasury in devolved system of government. Here we have the roles of the National Treasury as mandated by law. The National Treasury is mandated by law to perform these functions and responsibilities. So candidates, that will mark the end of our today's lesson, whose objective was that by the end of the lesson, you as the learner should be able to explain the establishment, the mandate, the functions, and the responsibilities of the National Treasury, which is a regulatory structure under public sector. Thank you for being attentive. I wish you all the best as you prepare for exams, and bye-bye.
Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to get yourself a copy of our professionally prepared study text and revision partners.